Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this 10-minute info session on what does it mean to be a peer leader at the Women's Resource Center. So I'm going to start off with some requirements. So first and foremost, we hire students to be able to work for an entire year. So that would be from fall to spring, and that just would require you to graduate next spring. Additionally, we always host our 3-day on-campus staff training mid-August. So we would also need you to save those dates. And they are all-day dates that all around 6 to 8 hours a day. Next, we are looking for folks who have availability during our working hours. We are open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and we expect at least 12 to 15 hours a week for 3-hour availability increments. That would mean if you have an availability from 9, 10, 11 till 12, and you have that time frame. And lastly, we do have a GPA requirement, so we would just require you to be in good academic standing. We are primarily looking for students with federal work study. However, there are alternatives available for students without social security numbers. So, what are some of the reasons why you should become a peer leader? First and foremost, working on campus will actually allow you to not only serve the campus community, but also feel like you are a part of the campus community. You will get to know people on campus, you will get support from people in the other cultural identity centers, you'll get to know some of those students, and also you get to connect with your peers on the team that you get hired with. This is also really great professional work experience. It's really good to have this on your resume and show that you have experience in staff meetings, you have experience in 9 to 5 type jobs. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits that a lot of past peer leaders have shared, where this has really prepared them for their next job. And lastly, we do have a lot of social media and marketing components to this job, whether that's learning how to outreach, learning how to promote events, and just seeing all the ins and outs of how do you actually get people into the spaces that you're looking for. So, what are we looking for? First and foremost, we really want people who are ready to create a culture where students feel very included, and we're creating that type of environment. We also are looking for folks who are ready to step out of their comfort zone. We always say that in order to grow, we have to be uncomfortable at times. So this may require you to have to do things that you've never done before, maybe things that you don't like to do and or scare you, but it is about knowing that both the professional staff in the space are here to support you every step of the way. So you will be doing sometimes scary things that you've never done before, like creating TikToks and having to get interviewed for the campus newspaper, but we are always there to support you as well. The next thing that we're looking for are people who do have good time management skills and the ability to work independently. A lot of times, myself and the director will be in meetings, and so it's about being able to do things while when you can't ask us questions, and just looking around the space and taking initiative of these are the things that need to be done that typically get done. And so next, a day in the life of a peer leader. So what does a typical job? So first and foremost, all of the peer leaders are going to be sitting at the front desk. So you are the face of the Women's Resource Center. You are going to be the first person who gets to greet our students. You're going to get to be the people who really make people feel welcomed in the space. And that will also require good customer service. Let me see if this could play as well. We also have a lot of our students do marketing and marketing, outreach, and social media. So that means that you would have to table for on-campus events. We regularly table every semester, at least for the first 6 weeks. We try to table every week so students, new students, transfer students can really get to know where we are. And we also have the opportunity to do create social media content. So that is a big way that we are getting students into our space. It's our TikTok videos, our reels on Instagram. And so I always say we are going to learn together how to create some of this content because it doesn't matter that you're not an expert, that you've never done this before going in, but it's just about being open to doing and trying something new, like I said earlier. The next thing would be throughout your whole shift, you would be overseeing the physical space. So, are things messy? Do you need to, make sure all the spaces look clean, look tidy? Do the coffee tea station need refills? Everything from restocking our hygiene supplies to making sure, students have everything that they need. And the last thing that students are working on during their shifts is program development. So, what that essentially means is all students are required to host 1 to 2 events a year, um, or rather, like 2 to 4 events a year. So, these are things that you create from start to finish. And so, it would be that whole process. But additionally, Megan, the director, and myself are also working on various programs for the Women's Resource Center. So we would be asking you throughout to be supporting us in those programs. So on our next slide, I'm actually going to have one of our previous peer leaders explain what does creating a program even look like.
Creating a WMC is a big part of what we do here as peer leaders. But how exactly do you even go about planning an event? Well, I have some tips that'll make things just a little bit easier. For one, pick something that you're passionate about, whether it's something that's been bothering you for a long time that you want to raise awareness for, or something that you recently learned about that you want to share with others. Passion will make the event a lot easier to plan. Second, make sure that your event hits one or more of the three goals of the WRC. So, is it intersectional? Does it bring attention to issues that women and femme presenting people face? Does it add wellness or a sense of community for the students that attend? If you're hitting one or more of these goals, then you're going in the right direction. And finally, marketing. Marketing is super important, y'all. Canva, TikTok, Instagram, those places are your best friend. Whether it's a funny meme, a sound you love, or even something that you just always have wanted to make, social media is a great place to market your event and make sure that people not only know where it is, but what it's about and that they want to come and join. Good luck, y'all.
So that kind of gives you a snippet of what is the process of creating an event start to finish. So next is just some advice from our previous peer leaders from throughout the years. So someone said, sometimes the scariest things help you grow the most. Ask questions. We really, really welcome questions. We don't want you sitting there confused and trying to figure it out yourself for way longer than you should, when all you got to do is pop into one of our office and ask the question. Next is time management is your best friend. That is definitely something we work on in the Women's Resource Center. You have a lot of time doing a bunch of different things. And so, how are you looking at your entire week and knowing what you got to do, making sure you have space for the more complicated components that you need to work on? Let's say the research for your program, or if you know that you've never made a flyer and you have to make a flyer for an event and you want to try that, recognizing how much time it's going to take and scheduling that throughout your week. Next is practice intentional communication. We are really, really big on letting us know what's going on. I won't know to help you unless you share that you need support. So make sure that you're letting us know if you're late, if something's going on that you need to miss a shift, or during finals that you need extra time to study and so you need to adjust your schedule. Let us know those things in advance. And lastly is lean on each other. I always say every single peer leader comes with strengths. You are not, when you get chosen for this position, you don't get chosen just because there was a fluke in the system. You really get chosen because we see some strengths that you can bring to the team. And so how do you leverage your strengths? And maybe you're not that great at social media, but your counterpart is. So how do you ask for support and how do you learn from each other? That is one of the biggest things that you can take from the program. Next is what would you do if you want to apply? So the applications always go out on Handshake, typically sometime in May. We require you to submit your resume, your cover letter, your class schedule and availability. If you are a transfer student who does not have access to Handshake, we ask that you send us all of these things via email and also include the date of your registration. And if you have any other restrictions for your availability, let's say you have another job or you always have to go pick up your sibling at a specific time, we just want to make sure that we have that information in advance. So that is it. We are very excited to be hiring for our next peer leaders for the year. We hope to see your application. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email us, Instagram, send us a DM on Instagram, and or call us with any of your questions.